Okay, so here's the building shape we've got so far. Now, even though when we pulled the floor up to create the height of the walls, even though we were in the wall command, because we were push-pulling an existing entity which was made up on the floor layer, not the wall command, the wall layer, even though we push-pulled while we were in the wall layer, because we push-pulled an existing entity, which was the floor, it maintained its parent relationship with everything else that we push-pulled up. So all of these other items that are up the top here, like that there, you notice it's a floor, even though our current layer is wall. So what we've got to do is we've got to select everything above the floor and turn all of those entities above the floor into the wall layer. Now the easiest way to do that would be to orbit around so that you're looking at a fairly level view. I mean the red-green axis is in one plane. If you get it like that, just like that, so all these axes here are in one plane, then we can select multiple entities with our mouse. I'll get you to click out here on the right hand side and press and hold, don't let go, press and hold and drag a window through such that the other side, when you let it go, will be past the extents of the building, however it will be above that floor level plane. So if I let that go, then everything now that gets crossed by that window will be selected. So if I let that go now and orbit, you can see the things that have been selected are everything above that flat plane. Now while all of those items are selected, I'm going to drop down the layer selector and change all of those to wall. Okay, so all of those things are now on the wall layer. I'll deselect them by clicking out in space somewhere. What I'll do also though is I'll select this top surface here, there, that top surface, and I'll change that to the roof layer. Okay, so now we've got some different entities in our model, all on different layers. Okay, now what we need to do now is we need to give some raking shape to the roof slope. At the moment everything's just a flat roof. So the way we'll do that is introduce you to this other tool over here, the protractor tool. It's just down below the tape measure tool. So grab your protractor tool. Now bring your protractor tool over into your model, and without clicking anything yet, just try hovering over different surfaces and you'll see how SketchUp will automatically align your protractor to align with a different face depending on where you're hovering. Now that's very good, but it can also be a bit hard to control if you, for instance, want to position yourself on this orientation I've got now, but all of a sudden you move your mouse and it flips to a different face. The way of controlling that will be while you're hovering over the face you want it to, and this gabled end of the building is the one I want us to work on at the moment, while you're hovering there, press and hold your shift key. So press the shift key, don't let it go, and now you'll see as you move your mouse around, the orientation of the protractor has been constrained to that orientation. So while you're holding the shift key, come up to this corner of the model and click endpoint. Wait till you see endpoint so you get it nice and accurately. So click when you're on the endpoint. And that has now stuck your protractor to that endpoint. Now we need to give the protractor a starting direction to start with. So I'm going to tell the protractor that this is my 0, if you like. So I'm going to pick somewhere on edge, along that edge. And then after I've got that as the starting orientation, I then rotate around in the direction I want to go, and this is the direction we want our roof to pitch up in. So while I'm hovering up there, I'll simply type 15 for 15 degrees and press enter. Now if we orbit out around now, we'll see we have established a 15-degree construction line through that corner of the building, and it's an infinite construction line that we can work with. Okay, So I'll just, while I've got the protractor tool, there's one other construction line I want to set up, and that's from this corner near the pop out. So while I'm hovering on this face, I will press and hold the shift key, then I will click on that corner, then I will come out in this direction on green axis, or on edge will be fine, to give it a starting point. Then I'll rotate my protractor downwards, and as I'm rotating down there I'll type 15 and press enter, so I get a 15-degree line from that point as well. And you can see, if you orbit round, you can see that those in elevation view, those two construction lines line up perfectly. Okay, so just go back to your select tool at the moment, because temporarily I need to move this edge here. I need to move it up so that the roof will slope down at that 15-degree slope, and I need to also move this edge here at the back of the pop out. I need to move that edge down so that it will be a 15-degree slope as well. We'll then end up with one simple skillion sloping roof. But before I do, I can't simply move that edge at the moment, because that edge also shares, well, this top ceiling shape, if you like, is using those lines to create its geometry. Now, there's no way I can simply move that edge at the moment in an upward blue axis direction and still create a coplanar face. I'd have to at the same time I move that one up, I would have to move this in the same command. So SketchUp won't be able to cope with this line here moving at the moment, because it's glued to this ceiling at the moment. So we need to just temporarily delete that ceiling. It's going to be easy to put back on in a second, so I'll just delete that ceiling temporarily. And while that's being deleted, I can now select this edge here. I can then go and find the move command over here, press the move command, and I'm going to move that edge from this end point so I'll just click that point there and then drag it up until it finds there should be a on line, just to make sure that that definitely is doing it. I'll bring it up somewhere till it says on blue axis, then I'll press and hold my shift key to make sure it stays on blue axis, so it cannot move off the blue axis now. And while it's constrained to the blue axis, I'll now touch that line there. So it makes it constrained on the line until it intersects, or it's constrained on the blue axis until it intersects with the line that I'm touching now. So I'll then click. So I've moved that wall straight up. But we need to do the same thing now over at this wall, the top of this wall. We need to move that one from that end point there. Now, making sure it stays on blue axis by coming down, waiting to hover until the tooltip says on blue axis. While the tooltip says on blue axis, press and hold the shift key and then touch this raking line. So it will be constrained to the blue axis until it hits that line. So then we click. And if you orbit round now, you can see you have created this skillion pattern. Now we need to put that roof face back on just for a moment. So to do that, I'll go and find my pencil tool, the line tool, and all I need to do is draw a line over the top of that ceiling surface. I don't need to draw all of them, I just need to put one line back in. It could be this line here, it could be that line, it could be any of the lines, but I'll just draw one line there from end point to end point, and then if I escape out of everything or deselect everything, you can see we've now closed up that ceiling space. But however, that will have gone onto the wall layer, so I once again select that surface, drop it down and put that on the roof layer. So deselect it again, and we've got that sloping surface on the roof layer now. Everything else around here is on the wall layer still. So I'm going to erase these construction lines that I set up, and we've got that part of the building set right there, so that's not a bad place to do a save.